Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kenda Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have a female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of September 12th, 2017, and a date of marriage of 1994. She says he's a vanisher and a low-energy wallower, though vanisher doesn't really quite. I think he's been more of a boomerang and has recently gone toward distant contact. So let's look. She says, I would say bomb drop was in September of 2017. He told me he didn't know if he wanted to be married to me anymore. We spent 4 days apart after he told me this without contact. He then came home crying and said he didn't know what he was thinking. The last 2 years, so 2017, and then we're at the last 2 years, so there's a 4-year gap in here that we're not seeing, of 2017 to 2021. Okay. The last 2 years, so since 2021, he's been distant but living at home. He's shown little affection towards me or any intimacy for about 2 years. He's been sleeping on the couch. On July 15th of this year, 2023, he blew up. He called me vulgar names, yelled at our older daughter. He left saying he was done with me. I didn't hear anything from him and he wouldn't return calls. A week later, he left home. He says there's no one else. He just wants to be alone. He says He just wants to be alone. He said, he got an apartment and has removed all contact from me. So he's blocked me, I guess it said. Once a week for 4 weeks. So not completely blocked. Once a week for 4 weeks. I text him telling him how I am proud of him for taking the initiative to find himself. Very positive text weekly for that time, letting him know I'm here for him. What can I do, or what else would you advise me to do? So, I like the idea behind it, and I know where it's coming from, that you were doing, I'm so proud of you, text. You've been doing that. Now I want you to stop doing that, or at least back off of doing that, okay? And instead of every 4 weeks, move it to 6 weeks, okay? Because he is not responding back to you. And not sure how he's taking your texts. I am thinking, however, though, it's great to hear, but he also, in paranoia that goes with midlife crisis, she's being manipulative. She's trying to reel me back in. He gets this. It might be a little too obvious. So instead, just text him, say, hi, I was thinking of you. How are you doing? Or, hi, I was thinking of you and I'm just checking in. Or just checking in to see that you're doing okay. You don't need to say no need to respond because he's not doing that. And that's why she's thinking he's a vanisher, everyone. But this was July 15th, which is 2 months. It's been 2 months, so it's not time for him to be a vanisher yet. Now, if this continues, and if you go 6 months and you send these regulars, and he hasn't contacted you once in that 6 months, yeah, I will agree he has stepped over to vanisher. Also, we don't know what happened in that 4-year gap. Did it seem like everything was fine? Then the last 2 years he was distant, living at home, and sleeping on the couch. Was there another conversation or something that caused him to sleep on the couch, or where he said he was sleeping on the couch, or one day did he just go? In other words, I don't like multiple bomb drop ideas, but was there something where you knew, okay, now he's not going to be here, and it felt big? Or did this all kind of slide gradually, the changes happen? Kind of like the frog in water, and then he was not in the room. Maybe all of these things, and maybe he said, okay, I'll sleep on the couch tonight, but that itself wasn't a bomb because it was a result of the gradual slide. When did you get an idea of midlife crisis? I like that you say bomb drop was that long ago. That's good looking. Good insight into it. But at the same time, one of the things with bomb drop is right after that. How we mark it is everything is different. And yeah, good marking of it. He left, spent 4 days away, came back crying, didn't know what he was thinking. Did he yank himself out of the tunnel? And were the next 4 years just normal? Ignored that one little isolated, and it was more than isolated because it lasted, and he left the house. But was it forgotten for 4 years? that's what I'm kind of wondering. Because then if it was forgotten for 4 years, those 4 years, basically he went back into the waiting room rather than boarding the MLC train. So he wasn't progressing. He wasn't moving forward. And when you look at the timeline, which we hate to look at things on time, but when you look at stages and where he is and going, he's not progressing. So we can't say, oh, it's been 4 years. Why is he still in escape and avoid? Because those years where he was on a hiatus. And so that's why I'm asking these questions. Bomb drop, and then everything changes right after that. You were the light of his life the day before, even if he was hiding things and it felt that way, and he was doing it, saying those things to make up for it, or because of his guilt, or trying to recreate it. And then the next week you are the enemy. Just like when he blew up and called you vulgar names on July 15th. A switch flipped. And that one, of course, isn't a bomb drop in the sense because you recognize he was living on the couch, all of that. But life completely changed from here to here. And that's how we know bomb drop. So I definitely agree with you that this is a bomb drop because of what he did directly afterwards. But I think, and there are some situations, it's just not the common ones, where it didn't take. Tried it, didn't take. He came back, he went back into the waiting room. Because basically, how you get on the train is you drop a bomb. You drop a bomb, you get on the train. I guess it's your ticket onto the train. And it just didn't work. He was able to get off that train, and he went back to the waiting room. In the waiting room, they're still in midlife crisis. They're still being depressed, being angry, maybe lashing out at us, but they're not moving forward. And that's what we will see with the low energy wallower as well. So you're right about the low energy, but maybe he's even moved to high energy. Who knows now? Because you can't see him. So I would prefer that you move your timeline for the contacting him, and I would like you to neutralize it even more. And it's really, you think that you're doing smart contact and you're doing a great job at being positive and believing in him. But I think he's paranoid. I think he's suspicious of anything. And he's suspicious of anything that comes from you right now because she has an agenda. She wants me back. Or she doesn't think, she wants to blame me. Whatever it is. He called you vulgar names. So he's projecting things at you. Your enemy, number one. And anything from enemy number one coming in nice, why would I trust that? And so I think you have to slip in even more covertly than you're trying to do. Because he's suspicious. If it doesn't work for 6 weeks, and we're not trying to get something to work, because I also want you to just step back. Work on living your life. Let him get information to you. But you might need to move up to 12. When we get to 12 plus weeks, I think every 3 to 6 months it's fine. If you haven't heard from him, you have a vanisher to send it. Hey, I was just thinking of you. I just hope you're okay. That's if you couldn't think of other smart contacts in between. Now, let's say you decide to go to the 6 weeks for a little while. And it hasn't been very many 4-week things, but we'll try this. And next week, you have an actual reason to call him. Your daughter falls out of a tree and breaks your arm, and you're taking her to the hospital. You have a reason to call him. Okay, that's a good reason. It is going, and let's say he comes and you see him. Your 6 weeks starts from then, not from the previous time. Okay, and it might not start from then because this might kickstart some contact. The 6 weeks starts from when the gap of no contact starts again, okay? And anything that kickstarts it could change it as well. One of the things that we're hoping to happen is you contact him and he contacts you back and you get a back and forth going. Might last a day, might last a week. It might just kick into reconnection. Who knows? But the next 6 weeks starts from the last port, not from 6 weeks from the first initiation of you contacting to the next initiation. It's from the last contact. And there's a big gap. It should be a 6-week gap. So if you speak for 2 weeks in there, It'll actually be 8 weeks from the initiation to the new one. If that made sense. I might have gotten confusing in there. If it didn't make sense, ask me. Let me know. Okay, but and the next thing is be patient. Really, really, really patient. I know people think, oh, well, I'm being patient. This is years patient. I have to step back. And so I can't be watching and worrying. So I'm going to move on and do other things with my life and hope and pray that he will come through, whether coming through to me even, but that he will be okay. And it's just, I can't control it. And trying to control it, even just by obsessively thinking about it, is holding me back from thriving. So I need to do my thriving and hope and pray that this person over there is going to figure it out. Okay? I hope this is helpful, and I will see everybody in the next question.